Item: SCP-3000. Object Class Thermial. Description: SCP-3000 is a massive aquatic serpentine entity, strongly resembling a giant moray eel. The full length of SCP-3000 is impossible to determine, but is hypothesized to be between 600 and 900 kilometers. The head of SCP-3000 measures roughly 2.5 meters in diameter, and sections of the body proper are as large as 10 meters in diameter. SCP-3000 is typically a sedentary creature, only moving its head in response to certain stimuli or during feeding. The majority of its body is located in and around the Ganges fan, and rarely moves at all. SCP-3000 is carnivorous, and despite its sedentary nature, is capable of moving quickly to dispatch prey. Despite its size, it is hypothesized that SCP-3000 does not require sustenance to maintain its biological functions. SCP-3000 is a Class 8 cognitohazardous entity. Direct observation of SCP-3000 may cause severe mental alterations in viewers. Individuals who directly observe SCP-3000, as well as any individuals within an uncertain distance of SCP-3000, experience inexplicable head pain, paranoia, general fear and panic, and memory loss or alteration. Special Containment Procedures. The area containing SCP-3000, currently a region of the Bay of Bengal, roughly 300 kilometers in diameter, is to be routinely patrolled by Foundation naval vessels. Under no circumstances are civilians allowed to attempt deep-sea exploration or diving efforts in the quarantined area. Individuals believed to have contacted SCP-3000 are to be contained, quarantined, and processed at Site-151. Individuals affected by the anomalous properties of SCP-3000 are to be held in containment indefinitely. The Foundation submarine SCP-3000 is to monitor the location of the foremost section of SCP-3000 currently located within the Ganges fan, roughly 0.7 kilometers beneath the bay. The Eremita is tasked with carrying out the Aztec protocol, and staffing regulations on board the vessel are subject to the guidelines of that protocol. For a full description of the Aztec protocol, see Addendum 3000.2. There is currently no known cure for exposure to SCP-3000. As such, affected individuals should be contained and quarantined for further evaluation. Individuals stationed aboard the SCP-3000 are not permitted to leave the vessel except for the purposes of carrying out the necessary procedures of the Aztec protocol. Individuals who leave the vessel without proper authorization are to be considered lost. Under no circumstances should any individual interact with SCP-3000 without authorization. The following is a log from Site-151's historical records written by Dr. Eugene Jett after initial discovery of SCP-3000 and the effects felt therein. The unease was felt throughout the entire crew as we descended on that first night. Whether this was due to our uncertainty of what we would discover, or something more sinister, I would not speculate. As we continued to descend, Williams began sweating profusely. When asked about it, he could not respond, stating he thought he was missing something he could not deduce. As our descent continued, he began to act more and more erratically, at one point addressing myself as Darlene, and expressing uncertainty to the task he was assigned to handle. Similar feelings were expressed by other members of the crew, but Williams felt it the most. His mimetic resistance was by far the lowest of all of us, but he was a biologist, not a mimeticist. When we finally came into contact with the entity, he began whimpering and had to be sedated. I remember him muttering the word "no" over and over again, as if in disbelief. He went silent after a while as we approached its head, but when I looked back at him, something had gone from his eyes. He did not even so much as blink as we made our final descent. At around 0940 hours, we first observed the head of the entity. The unease was palpable now. Several other crew members complained of feeling hazy and of being uncertain what they were supposed to be doing. Captain Ritter, even the man's man, wrote it all off as nitrogen intoxication and forced them to continue approaching the entity. When we were within 50 meters, the entity turned slowly to look at us. Even now, as I recall watching this thing coil around in the darkness, I can still hear Williams barking like a mad dog in the rear of the vessel, screaming and flailing, shouting about how he could see it in his head. Perkins and Harrisons tried to restrain him, but he got free and smashed his face in against one of the portholes. He hit it so hard he cracked the inner layer of glass. The damage was bad enough that we had to surface. We tried to give Williams medical attention, but he was too far gone at this point. He had pulped himself against the glass, and despite the trauma, he still spoke briefly as he lay dying. Nobody recorded it, we didn't think to at the time, but I remember it well enough. He said, "There's nothing. Nothing. Nothing." By the time we had reached the surface several hours later, Williams was dead. At the time I didn't think much about what he had said, just the ravings of a man gone mad by the depths. I figured I didn't know any better. But even now, I can still see the eyes of the creature. I see it hanging there in the darkness, illuminated by a light I cannot source. And I feel the lingering dread that Williams must have felt that night in the submersible, as he was overcome by whatever void that foul thing slithered out of. Discovery. SCP-3000 was discovered in 1971, shortly after 2 Bangladeshi fishing boats and 15 fishermen were reported missing after drifting near the Indian coast. Foundation researchers stationed in Calcutta drew similarities between this disappearance and other incidents 2 years earlier. A thorough search aided by Mariota Pasha counters revealed the location of the 2 boats, as well as an unknown, previously undiscovered mass deep below the surface of the Bay of Bengal. Further investigation by Foundation divers discovered the existence of SCP-3000. Addendum 3000.1 Initial Contact Exploration Log. Note: until this point, no Foundation diver had come within 300 meters of SCP-3000. Divers were tasked with assessing the creature and determining the source of the thick grey fluid that had been observed floating around its head. The dive team was compressed of 3 members of MTF Orion 9 Kingfishers, led by MTF 0-9 Alpha. Begin log. Alright, come on, we're situated in the airlock and ready to roll. Confirmed. Go ahead and sound off. Orion 9 Alpha, check. Orion 9 Bravo, check. Alright men, we're in position about 500 meters from the head of this creature. Make sure your tethers are on good and tight, we don't want any of you getting separated out there. What's visibility like down here today, Command? Stand by. About 3 meters. So it's dark as fuck, got it. Why are we so far out? The size of this thing is hard to comprehend and it's wrapped up in itself in several places. We can't get too close because there's too much body out there. The entity hasn't moved in about 3 weeks. That's all? Affirmative. It moves slightly with the currents down here, but nothing more than that. If it weren't for the head movement that we observed by the first submersible team, we probably wouldn't know if it was alive or not. That's reassuring. Alright, tethers are tight. Flood the chamber. Confirmed. Rushing water is heard as the airlock chamber floods. No other sound is heard for several minutes. After some time, the sound of rushing water stops. You both good? I'm good. It's fucking cold. Hopefully we won't be out for long then. Turn the lights, boys. Here we go. All members of the dive team exit the airlock. There is a low mechanical sound as the airlock door closes behind them. A muffled click sound is heard, and the Stravinsky activates its aft floodlights. Hey, Alpha, maybe this is a bad time to ask, but I can't remember how to turn on my lamp, and your lamp is on Foxtrot. What? What did you call me? Your designation, honey. Foxtrot. I'm Foxtrot, boss. You're Bravo. Hang on, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean by designation. It's your goddamn call sign, Bravo. What do you mean? Who's Bravo? Shit, hang on. I was gonna say something. Barry, are you still here? Stand by. Go for command. Hey, we're having a little trouble out here. I'm not sure who... We seem to have some confusion over designations, and I'm not sure where we're going. Where exactly are we? God, do you guys feel that? I've just got an awful headache. It's like needling in my brain. Something. Dive team, be advised that we believe you may be experiencing some detrimental cognito effects. Keep moving forward and we'll give you more information as we receive it. Noted. Command, be advised that Foxtrot has a terrible headache, I think. Are we going in the right direction? We can't see out here. You are roughly 150 meters from the head of the entity, Alpha. You should be getting a visual soon. Command, I don't see anything. Where are we? Where are we? You're almost there, Alpha. Dive team, be advised we're picking up movement from the entity on radar. Barry, I don't see anything down here. What are we supposed to be looking? All I can see is darkness. Barry, I don't see anything down here. What are we supposed to be looking? All I can see is darkness. There's a chill, foul wind blowing, pushing me towards a brink I can't see. Shut up, shut up, shut up! Come on, Bravo is unresponsive, requesting immediate cessation of mission. Wait a second! On the edge of nothingness, inches from oblivion, there's a sickness in my mind that I know can't be cured. Beyond me is only darkness and a single pair of dark eyes. What are you saying? Dive team, we're going to pull you back in immediately. We have reason to believe that... Barry, is that you? How can it be? I shoveled the dirt during your... I can hear something out there. Alpha, your light. Get your fucking... Silence. Only silence. My consciousness coming undone. And only... Dive team, something is moving towards you. Repeat, something is moving towards you. Pretend to return. This is shit. I can't see. How far are we from the... It's right there! It's right there! Fuck! What are you both doing? Fuck! And only the eel remains. Alpha? Alpha! Bravo, Foxtrot, do any of you hear us? Oh, thank God. Bravo, you need to speak up, we can't Something has bound up the winch between you and us, we can't... It's opening its mouth. It's so dark, there's a... Where am I? What? Barry, how can it be? I shoveled dirt, I only swim, get away, there's only darkness, swim! Only... There is a sudden tension in the tether attached to the Stravinsky. 09 Foxtrot radio goes silent. There is the sound of a struggle through the other two radios. Foxtrot! Foxtrot, Alpha, Bravo. Talk to me, stay calm. What happened? It ate him! Fuck, he's gone! It took him whole! But damn it, Alpha, what are you doing? Alpha? Cut the fucking goddamn tether, Alpha, it's pulling us in! Who? Fuck! Total radio silence for 30 seconds. Tether attached to the Stravinsky is pulled free from its moorings and disappears. Alpha! Bravo, do you copy? Alpha, Bravo, do you copy? This is Bravo. I'm floating in the dark. I can see shapes moving through the fog, but they're hard to make out. I cut my tether. Alpha wouldn't. I think he's gone. I don't see his light anymore. Acknowledged. We're coming to... Hang on. Just let me think for a second. Cognition. This thing. It doesn't work around it. Your brain can't form thoughts. Oh, it hurts. It's like dying. And Bravo, do you have eyes on the entity? It's in my head, guys. Coiled up in there like a snake, and something about it is caustic. I can see it just in front of me. It's not doing anything. It isn't moving, just hanging there with its mouth open. I think it's finished eating. That fluid is seeping through the skin around its head, about a meter back. Just looking at the stuff is making me... Oh, the room is spinning. I feel nauseous. My head isn't working right. There's an abortion under the floorboards and another in the... Wait, this is wrong. That wasn't me. Who said that? I'm going to collect a sample. Hang on. Bravo, we're going to send out a crew to get you. Just hold on. Oh no, don't do that. Not... You have to be trained to not feel the things I'm feeling, otherwise it will get into you. Maybe it will anyway, who knows? It feels like the end of my world down here, fellas. My heart is really going off the charts and I think I'm dying. I got a sample. I'll attach it to one of those little balloons and let it float up. You'll be able to get it later. Don't spend much time around that stuff. It doesn't... Your mind, Bravo? I think I'm dying. I'm dying. I know I'm dying. This is it. I just want to get away from here, you know. It occurs to me. Don't send anyone else out here. It's so dark. Bravo? Over the next half hour, the SCP-3000 Stravinsky attempted to approach 09 Bravo with no success. Command continued to attempt to communicate with 09 Bravo, but Bravo grew increasingly unintelligible, before eventually going completely silent. Bravo's radio stayed active over the next 3 days, and intermittent breathing could be heard until the radio ceased functioning. Addendum 3000.2 The Aztec Protocol. File of relevance. Interview with 05-3 available. Administrator clearance accepted. Dr. Knott sits opposite 05-3. 05-3 places an audio recorder on the table between them. First of all, Doctor, congratulations on your promotion to Senior Researcher and your Level 4 security clearance. A lot of doors will begin to open to you now. Now, Doctor. The O5 have seen the file for SCP-3000 and have approved its classification as thermal given its nature. However, they would like a further explanation on the Aztec protocol. The file submitted was somewhat lacking in information. All we have seen is that it has serious potential during testing, but the death toll is heavy, both in procuring Y909 and refining it. I'm going to ask some questions, and I would like you to answer them as thoroughly as you can, please. Of course, sir. What is the Aztec protocol? What is Y909? And what have you discovered about it? The Aztec protocol is a method for gathering and processing the Y909 compound. It's a thick, brackish grey fluid that SCP-3000 excretes as part of its metabolism. We don't know the exact method by which it does this, but we have some ideas, and none of them are great for us. Initially we thought it was bleeding. The first team we sent down to look at SCP-3000 went down to collect blood samples for analysis. When SCP-3000 attacked and consumed them, and began producing more of the substance, we realised that we were looking at something different entirely. It's definitely not blood, it's more akin to prion slurry. It's extremely toxic, and spending too much time around the stuff causes a lot of the same effects as exposure to SCP-3000 does. Paranoia, memory loss, suicidal thoughts, etc. Refining the raw Y909, what the processors call eel jelly, allows us to create amnestics more effective than any we've had access to in the history of this organisation. Herein lies the ethical dilemma. SCP-3000 only creates Y909 after eating, and it only eats humans. Remember when I said we had some ideas about how it does this? Some of our biologists have hypothesized that SCP-3000 is breaking down whatever makes sapient creatures sapient, filtering it through some part of its skin, and the residual either is what we collect. You want to know something really fucked up? We've taken radiographs of this thing, trying to see what's going on inside of it. It's full of dead human bodies. It's not digesting them at all. It's doing something else, and the end result is Y909. When we first started using Y909 in our amnestics programs, we tried to synthesize it. We got something close to that, what we were looking for, Y919. But the side effects were catastrophic. The amnestics would work. We could get people to forget events, people, and so on. But then they would start to forget other things too. The mental deterioration would rapidly increase until there was nothing left, and then they would die. A few of the researchers thought we might be able to figure out how to decrease the severity of those side effects, but the cost to continue those trials would have been astronomical, and the program was discontinued. It's no secret what we're doing here is abhorrent. The ethics committee, the classification committee, they're all looking at ways to make this more tolerable than what it is. But the hard truth is, if we want to continue to use modern amnestics, we have to have Y909. If we want to have Y909, then we have to feed D-class personnel to SCP-3000. Otherwise we'd be forced to go back to the metaphorical Dark Ages, where we were amnestising people with opiates and chloroform. The good news is we're developing ROVs that should be able to take over the job of collecting the raw material from our dive teams. This will eliminate any chance of accidental casualties like we've had in the past, and is a good first step. For everything else, only time will tell. This is enlightening information, Doctor. Maintain the protocol for now and collect more for the use of amnestics. I want you to take full responsibility for the remote operated vehicle program you are working on, and I will contact you in 2 weeks expecting a positive update. Until then, keep using the MTF, but for God's sake don't kill all of our men, and leave some D-class for 049 at least, else our bargain with him and the 001 issue will go to shit. End log.